Movies lean towards you. They lean toward you aggressively with their hands around your throat, trying to grab every section of your attention. These type of films lean away from you, and they use time, and as other people would call it, boredom, as a technique. Now you're doing something really rare. You're activating the viewer. And once the viewer starts to move on his own, it's so much more powerful. When you use boredom as an aesthetic device, when is it effective and when is it simply boredom? If you consistently withhold and now the viewer is leaning toward you, now you have to, I think, in a certain moment, free them.
Tokyo Story is a 1953 feature film directed by Japanese master filmmaker Ozu Yoshizero. As it seems with most masterpieces, this film was shunned upon release, being considered too Japanese. It wasn't until 4 years later, when the film premiered in London, that it gained recognition.
思いがけの温泉へも入らしてもろうて。
ああ、思わん散財かけたの。
気持ちですな。
But even then, the feature wasn't considered a true classic until 1972. When you think of Japanese cinema, you immediately think of Seven Samurai and the works of Kurosawa. But if you're a cinephile, you may gravitate towards Ozu. The film follows the lives of an aging couple in a small Japanese city who set off to the bustling city of Tokyo to see their grown children.
まあ今のうちに子供たちにも会ったと思いましてな。
じゃあいらしたわよ。
Their son, daughter, and their widowed daughter-in-law, Noriko. Upon arrival, the son and daughter are too busy with their city lives to spend time with them. And the way the film is framed by Ozu isn't with contempt by either side. The parents remain hopeful, even whilst in conversation about the neglect. They are honest to the sadness of the situation, realizing that they have to let their grown children have their own lives. And their grown children are, whilst conscious of the neglect, almost seeing it as a real chore to spend time with their parents, still love them. But the true love in the tale comes from their daughter-in-law, Noriko, who was married to their deceased son. Her smile illuminates the scene and their lives, and she frequently visits them. And, out of the blue, an event happens in the last act of the film, which is shocking and unexpected. Just like life. It is from here that we come to see this scene, one of the greatest in cinema history. A conversation between Noriko and their youngest daughter, Kyoko. Kyoko is infuriated by her other siblings' neglect of their parents. Being the ever-glowing optimist, Noriko attempts to provide some reasoning. And these are the words that are exchanged.
それじゃ親子なんて随分つまらない。そうね。でもみんなそうなってくんじゃないかしら。だんだんそうなるのよ。じゃあお姉さんも？ええ。なりたかないけど、やっぱりそうなってくわよ。いやね、世の中って。そう、嫌なことばっかり。
Even without context, this is simply a beautiful scene. With context, it's even better. You can't help but revel in the way that Ozu frames his shots. Low down, almost to mimic the traditional Japanese mat, using right angles to shape frames. Gorgeous. The style being used is minimalism. No crazy angles, no camera movements. The 180-degree rule is consistently broken and characters sit close together. If you watch my channel, you know simple filmmaking is the best kind of filmmaking. And in terms of the overarching theme of the film, it perfectly depicts the changing of Japanese pre-war traditional family structures to post-war capitalism and westernized Japan. More than anything, the film is universal in its message of children growing apart from their parents. And it is a painful reminder that time for all of us is short.
Then all of a sudden at the end, boom, a big blast of Mozart. What are you going to do with something that aggressive? And the trick of someone who can use transcendental style is to suddenly freeze them. So like the characters in Ozu's films never show any emotion, and all of a sudden in the end, whammo, comes a big blast of emotion. What are you going to do with that now that he has totally conditioned you not to expect it? Is it going to put you off, or is it going to knock you up a notch? And that's the idea of the decisive action. And once you get that action, and then after that, silence.
This has been Cinema is Dying. I am Marcus Flemmings.